to The Randy Report. I'm Randy Slovacek, your host. I'm also the writer and editor of therandyreport.com, where you can find me every single day on the internet reporting on the daily news cycle in terms of politics, pop culture, and entertainment news of interest to the LGBTQ community. Today, I'm chatting with the oh-so-handsome and charming Mr. Matthew Camp, and I have to tell you up front that this is one of my favorite interviews in a long, long time. If you follow his social media, you know he's an intoxicating blend of good-looking country boy with a side of danger. What I enjoyed most about chatting with him was how smart and thoughtful he is. It's a disarmingly charming equation. The social media celebrity, with over 500,000 followers on Instagram alone, first attracted attention some years ago after moving to New York City and becoming a go-go boy. But starring roles in indie movies like Getting Go, The Go Doc Project, which was loosely based on his life, and Sock Job, quickly sent Matthew Starr into a new orbit. At the same time, he was encouraged by friends to design his own line of t-shirt and leather gear fashions. Matthew says he took a couple of classes in construction and pattern making a few years ago for the ABCs of it all, but admits to having an interest in fashion since he was a kid. Plus, he launched a line of provocatively named fragrances, 8.5, Transgression, that are inspired by and conjure up his memories of working in bars around sexy men. A big proponent of the sex-positive movement, he's also an ambassador for OraQuick, the home HIV test. Matthew is big on encouraging people to know their status by getting tested on a regular basis and owning your own sexual health. Matthew has a new video series project in the works. It delves into a person's sexual personality by exploring formative sexual experiences from their past. I understand the format will be a hybrid of documentary/experimental art film, and the producers are looking for folks to take part in the project on camera with Matthew. I'll have the info for those of you that would like to submit yourself to be considered for the project at the end of the podcast. So I'll be chatting with him about that, what it's like to have over 500,000 people follow your life, plus a few other things that come up. So let's say hi to Matthew Camp.
Hey, Randy, how are you?
I'm terrific. Thanks for having time to chat. So tell me about this new video project you're working on.
Well, I'm not sure exactly how much I'm supposed to really talk about the specifics, but well, I'm really excited about it. I think that there's an opportunity for really creative and satisfying gay art and like gay media and pornographic media that hasn't really been sort of touched yet. And so I think that there's like a really good chance for something like that to be well received. So that's kind of like the goal of it, is really just kind of push the boundaries of what is acceptable for art. You know what I mean?
You have a very sex-positive outlook on how you put yourself out there and how you encourage people. It seems to be your message is that people should be sex-positive, and for so long, and I support that, because so many people are kind of raised... Are not, exactly.
Yeah.
They're raised with this kind of embarrassment about sex. And so I love, I love the phrase sex positive, and I love the idea of a message that's sex positive, because sex is awesome. I really think so.
Yeah, I know, totally. I agree. I think especially as a gay community, it's one of the strongest things that we have that brings us together is our sex. It's something that sort of a lot of other communities maybe don't have in the same sort of way.
Absolutely. I saw in an interview you did about a year ago that you said your favorite thing about being gay is that you get to have sex with guys because you like having sex with guys, and it feels really great.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Totally awesome. Now, where are you located right now? Because I know you were in New York City, then for a while, weren't you in upstate New York?
I still am in upstate New York. I'm currently living in Hudson. I've been here a year. It's a really cute town. They're having this thing called Winter Walk right now where people dress up and there's carolers, sleigh bells, and like horses go down the street, and they have like a parade and fireworks. And it's like a really cute town. Yeah, it's like picturesque.
I went to college at Syracuse University in upstate New York. I was a Texas boy, and so it was a big learning curve to be in upstate New York. Trust me.
They take their holidays very seriously.
They do, and they're all. And the thing about upstate New York too is there are all these little towns. You know, I was in Syracuse, but there's all these little towns like Cazenovia and these little, little towns which are so cute and everything. I love it.
Yeah, me too. It's really beautiful up here.
So about this project,
Okay.
what do you think you can tell me? We know it's about exploring sexuality. We can say that much.
Yes. I know that it's definitely not autobiographical. It's basically a few of the sexual experiences that I've had that I found more on the profound side. And I think it's sort of like a reenaction of those things. I feel like a lot of times when you see men that are having a sexual encounter, it's not, I don't want to sound like romance novelty, but it's not romantic at all. Like, it's very like animalistic, which is great, but also there's other sides to sexuality that are softer and more about community and stuff like that. So we're exploring those kinds of ideas.
I understand that the new project will be a short series. Does that mean it's going to be a series of shorts, or will it be just a short series because there will be 3 or 4 episodes, do you think?
Well, I'm not sure how exactly they are planning to edit it down.
Okay.
I just got the first part of the schedule.
What's the timeline? Do you know? Like, when do you think you start shooting it? When do you think the public might get to see some of this?
Well, we're starting to shoot next week, and so I think that it will take 2 or 3 months maybe to have a turnaround of editing and stuff, so pretty soon.
And you're not afraid of the camera, I have to say. I know that, which I love, as you laugh. I did enjoy Getting Go, the Go Doc project.
Oh, thank you very much.
I follow you on Instagram, like about 500,000 other people. And one of the things that, it's interesting writing for the LGBT media space as I do, because I have to follow you guys. Isn't that like it's my job? As if there could be worse things. But no, I do, because people are talking about different people and how people present themselves. And I'm personally fascinated about what social media is happening, because back when in the 90s, we just had AOL and chat rooms, and that was it. That was the internet. And we thought that was it. And then, Facebook kind of comes along, and then Twitter comes along, and then Instagram comes along, and then other things come along. And I'm sure nobody ever thought about where all of this could go or what it could do. And then suddenly we have people who, I don't want to say they're famous only because of Instagram, but Instagram helps people with some sense of celebrity and getting their message out there, getting their projects out there, like it does for you.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you thought, oh, this is something I need to start doing, or I need to get involved in this, like Instagram, or I know you also have an OnlyFans.com account.
Yes, I do. I'm up for an award for it.
You are?
I am, yeah. For World of Wonder. I don't remember what the name of the award is.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I saw this.
Yeah.
I saw this. Yes. I have to make sure I go vote. It's like the Oscars.
Oh, please, yeah, go vote. You can vote multiple times. I'd really like to win this, because I haven't really done anything that's like XXX before. I have, obviously, but it's really been right up to the line. So this is like the first time I'd like to get an award.
Well, let's do that. We'll see what we can do about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Instagram, I wanted to ask, like I said, I'm kind of fascinated by the whole concept of it, and especially for people like you who have these huge followings, first Instagram and on OnlyFans. Do you feel a pressure to, oh man, I have to like get something up. I haven't posted in a day or two, or, I have to, or about being creative?
Of course, I definitely feel that way, but I also know that you can go to the well too many times.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really, I think, about building strong neural connections with the people that are consuming your product. So you don't want to blast them with the same content over and over again. It's like a drug. They're going to get used to it. You got to switch it up, and you got to get them sort of like a diverse emotional landscape. It can't just all be dick. They need a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. One of my least favorite words, and I use it all the time. Absolutely. One of the things in looking at different people on Instagram, one of the things that I think sets you apart, and this is just my opinion, and I mean this in the best way possible, is what's starting to happen on Instagram for some guys that we follow, and you guys are hot and it's eye candy, and a lot of you have messages to put out there. but a lot of it can get a little slick or sometimes a little too polished. You might know where I'm going with this. And I know part of the reason that I know you're in upstate New York is you're out in not the wild, but in obviously the country in a lot of your photography. And one of the things I like about your Instagram account is that it never looks like you're trying too hard to impress. And I thought, now what's the word? Because it's not too slick. Organic, that's the word. Authentic. Sometimes you have like dirt on your butt or something, and that's hot, by the way. But it's not like, oh, Matt, you need to wipe your backside, before you take the picture. It's not like you're trying too hard. And sometimes what I'm starting to see a lot of in some Instagram accounts is there's this very, very, very polished, slick thing going on.
Yes.
And you take pictures with peeling paint on the wall behind you, which I like. I like that.
Yeah, that was the old house I used to live in. It was like the Fight Club house. It was awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I know. There was just a bunch of like homeless transient boys that would live there.
Oh, wow. Really? Another thing I was always wondering about, because do you have photographers constantly approaching you that want to like, hey, can I shoot you? Can I shoot you? Can I shoot you?
Yes, but I try to be a little bit more picky about those because I think a lot of times people don't edit their photos correctly, and sometimes they'll warp your body or they'll do like weird stuff. And I'm not against Photoshop, I think when you're selling a fantasy, it's good to sort of have a little fantasy in there, but at the same time, I think it's like bad to sort of like overdo it,
Absolutely. Sure. There I go again. Absolutely. See, I'll cut that out. One of the other things that I really like, I find very fascinating about you is you're out there, you have this very sex positive message and image, you're on Instagram, you're acting, you've done movies and things, but you also are a designer. So you do perfume creation. You have 3 scents now. I knew of one, I have to say, in doing research. I did not know about Transgression. You have 8.5, Transgression, and Camp.
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated. I'm going to have to order that now.
Oh, do you like dildos?
Do I like dildos?
Or the smell of them? Because that's what it smells like.
Oh, hot. Okay.
I had a roommate that would just get dildos delivered all the time, and I became obsessed with the smell. Like a brand new dildo smells like candy or like a toy or some sort of weird baked good.
Awesome. I know you described 8.5 as the smells you remembered or kind of conjuring up the memory of being in a bar, the smell of men, kind of sweat, tobacco, and what that all smells like, which I thought was a great description because I do like manly scents personally. My husband is really big into Tom Ford scents because the bulk of them tend to be a little more on the, well, I'm not going to use a word because you're an expert and I'll sound stupid.
No, go for it.
But no, they seem muskier, they seem darker. They're not light. There's not a sweetness to them usually, at least the ones that my husband Michael wears, that I go by him to wear. Are you still involved in creating new scents and everything? And how did you get started in that?
I had a friend that was friends with a designer named Agatha Du Bois. She lives in LA. She made custom leather. I mean, she still does. She's done stuff for like Britney Spears on the cover of Rolling Stone, all sorts of stuff. She kind of gave me like a crash course in making leather jackets, specifically because she worked with it for a long time and she's a close friend of mine. So she also has a fragrance line that she made with essential oils, and I was playing around with some old oils of hers at a friend's house and just created 8.5. And of course I edited it since then a little bit, but it's pretty much the same original formula. That was really the start of creating fragrances. But I like fragrances because they conjure up feelings within somebody without words. And I think that's extremely strong communication in what is art, but just communicating with people's subconscious.
Do you have a favorite of your 3 fragrances?
I wear 8.5 the most. I think Camp is the one that I can wear out in public without seeming like a total perv. Because it's like so manly. It's almost like cheesy in the richness of it. But it's a very sweet. I'll send you some if you don't have some already.
I haven't smelled it. I'd be curious. I have
Yeah,
tried
yeah, please.
8.5, which by the way is a great name.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Great name. I did want to ask too, is it hard to date Matthew Kemp when you have 500,000 followers on Instagram and people know who you are? And does that ever come into play when you're dating or you're going out with someone, whether from your side or from the other guy's side? Like, do they get intimidated, or do you feel like you have to live up to something? Is that a stupid question? Well, there are no stupid questions.
No, it's fine. There's no stupid question. I think that it can be very difficult to navigate that space. Relationships are very difficult to begin with anyway, especially long-term ones and romantic ones at that. So really try and maintain friendships with people more than sexual relationships or even romantic relationships, I should say. But I was dating someone recently and they were very conflicted about my my work. I think on one side it appealed to their business mind, and they like that I make money and I'm self-sufficient. But I think on the other side, they also were very jealous. So that, yeah, it definitely can take a toll on my personal life. But I've kind of melded the two into one now. So I don't really have a personal life anymore. Now it's just all Matthew Camp stuff all the time.
Do you remember when you first started getting noticed on Instagram? Did you go on Instagram already? I've just known who you are for so many years now. I don't know how I became aware of you. When do you think you first became someone that people knew of?
I mean, I had a large following for Facebook, which was like 5,000, I think was your limit for a personal Facebook. And I hit that pretty quickly. So I had some seedling started from that. But I think most of my popularity came from going to clubs and working in clubs as a go-go dancer and having great interactions with people. I think a lot of people remember me from working those days, and that was a positive thing that got the snowball sort of going. And then from there, I think that it sort of raised my numbers enough that it allowed people to notice me as opposed to noticing other people.
And do you remember when that started happening? Was it a slow?
It was right around Get and Go, but they since Facebook bought Instagram, they've changed the algorithm, and my numbers don't go up the same way they used to because I think it's because I'm a sexy gay guy, and they sort of like edit that down a little bit.
See, that's another thing we didn't know about social media. It's like I write a lot about politics, and so I was very involved in writing about the alleged interference, and I'm only using the word alleged because I'm supposed to, but I believe it happened. The interference by Russia in the 2016 election, and
Oh yeah, of course.
the whole thing that happened with Facebook, and people didn't know. No one ever thought, oh, like someone might weaponize social media. Now I'm not. That doesn't relate to what you and I are talking about, but it's the idea of how things associated with social media we didn't think
Yeah.
about 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and suddenly here we are, and we're like, oh, I never thought about this application of social media.
Well, it's not really that different than advertising, social media. So like in the early turn of the century, advertising was a really big thing. It took off, and they used subliminal messaging to sort of get advertisements out there and get people to buy their products. It's the same sort of thing that happens with social media, but I think on social media, a lot of it is more accidental than on purpose because it's individuals that maybe don't have such a strong background about how the subconscious works and how to appeal to it. Yeah.
I always wonder, did, for instance, I'll use Facebook as an example, did they think 10 years ago when they created Facebook, they thought, okay, we're going to get them hooked. And then in about 10 years or in about 5 years, we're going to start selling ads. And then we're going to make Facebook ads a thing. And then we're going to get
Yeah.
people drawn in. It's almost like there's a formula to the whole thing. And then what they do, because you mentioned the algorithm, I'm aware of that. I remember with my blog, The Randy Report, at one point I was like, my numbers were increasing like really quickly for at this one window of time. And then suddenly things like get cut in half almost in terms of
Oh, yeah.
growth. And
Yeah.
I thought I still had my readers, but the growth stopped, and I thought, oh, I started pissing people off or something, or which might be a good thing. But but then people started telling me, oh no, Facebook changed their algorithm, or
Yeah.
Instagram changes their algorithm.
So you don't appear at the top anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
fascinating.
It is very fascinating. You know what it reminds me of? Do you know what Rat City is? When the social scientists build all these rat cities to sort of study the industrialization of America, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a sort of mental space for a rat city to be born, because you start seeing like these more extreme behaviors and these more sort of like more frequent posting, it's more erratic, definitely feels like it's amping up.
It's interesting. One of the websites I write for, they post everything. They're like 12 posts a day. Another website I write for, they only share one or two on Facebook or on Instagram a day, and then they mix other things in there so they don't look like they're spamming, and they have better numbers. So less is more sometimes, like clothes.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about a lover that's been away for a while. You're
Right.
definitely more appreciative to see them than if you see them every day.
Excellent analogy. Excellent. Absolutely. I want to say thank you so much for your time. Thanks for chatting.
No problem. It was a great interview.
I would love to talk more when you can about the new project when it comes out. I'm sure you're going to end up doing a trailer of some sort, and so I'd love to chat when that happens. And like I said, I don't want to gush, but I do appreciate what you put out and the image you put out. And
thank you so much.
Oh, one more thing. I appreciate that you're an ambassador for OraQuick.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It is so important that people know their status and get tested, and that's been such a weird thing. I'm of an age where I remember when people were afraid to get tested because they might not like the news. Then people didn't want to get tested because of a stigma, and there have been all these levels. And so the idea that people can get tested in their home privately without having to go somewhere, it's more convenient, blah blah blah. And I love that you promote that because it's a great thing.
Well, I definitely think it takes away sort of the fear element of it. If you can just go to a store and buy and a lot of people don't have health insurance either. It's like expensive to go to the doctors and get tested if you don't have health insurance. And then you're stuck at a Planned Parenthood if you don't have health insurance. And then that's embarrassing if you run into somebody or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So I think it's great that people can take their own health into their own hands, and it's kind of dynamic.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It was a very nice talking to you.
Great talking to you. I hope to talk to you soon, and good luck with the new project. Have a great Saturday.
You too. Bye.
Thanks again to Matthew for the chat. If you'd like to submit yourself to be a possible co-star with Matthew on this new video project, you can submit yourself via email at camp, C-A-M-P, chaos, C-H-A-O-S, series, @gmail.com. I'll also have the info in the show notes. And that brings me to the end of this episode of The Randy Report. If you enjoy catching up on LGBTQ news in a quick podcast, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't mind sharing The Randy Report with your friends. I like to think of this podcast as the 60 minutes of gay news, only shorter. And remember, you can find me every single day on the internet at therandyreport.com and instinctmagazine.com, where I cover the daily news cycle regarding politics, pop culture, and entertainment news of interest to the LGBTQ community. Thanks for listening, folks. See you next time.